Hey guys, this is Josh with Right Foot Down, and I'm about ready to give you a tour of the 2018 Kia Stinger GT2 and tell you why I think it is an awesome sports sedan.
Hey guys, William Bird, Editor-in-Chief of Right Foot Down. This Kia Stinger GT was supposed to be my press loaner, but I had a conflict, so I had to pass it to Josh. So now it's my job to turn this rambling pile of garbage into something usable.
First off, a little bit about the Kia Stinger GT2. You see, it's not purely Korean. What I mean by that is they had a designer by the name of Peter Schreier. They pulled him from Audi. And then there was a guy named Albert Biermann. You may have heard from him. He ran BMW's M division for quite a while. So when those two get together to work on a project, you know it's probably going to come out all right. So let's take another look. Now maybe you didn't recognize it at first, but the Kia Stinger GT is a 5-door hatchback. Yeah, a hatchback. You don't see, it's not that they're not in the United States. BMW's been doing the Grand Coupes. Audi's got the A7.
Not just the A7, the A5 Sportback is a bit smaller than the Kia, and the A7 is a bit bigger, so it actually fits in between them perfectly in size and price.
And you're going to probably see a lot of influence. Well, it's to no surprise, right? Styling's subjective. Take it for what you will. I think it is a gorgeous looking car. And I'm going to show you some details about it that you might not have picked up on. Okay, so let me give you some highlights of this. It is a 5-door hatchback. It is all-wheel drive with a twin-turbo V6 making 365 horsepower advertised. More on that later. And a little more than that torque, around 380. And I say little more because that's not really what this engine makes. It is a sport sedan. It is comfortable. It doesn't have a million different modes. It has 2 or 3 most adjustable settings like throttle mapping and steering and suspension. More on that to come as well. It's got Brembos. It's got fairly narrow 225 front tires, they're 19s, for the weight of the vehicle, which is over 4,100 pounds. They are Michelin Pilot P4S tires, which are pretty amazing. It is a hatchback, meaning it has lots of space. It's got around 43 cubic feet of space, and if I open this, it's one touch. How nice is that? It has another button here to lower it, but as you can see, plenty of space, and we haven't even lowered down the rear seats. There's a lot. Let me push that button, close it again. We have vents in many places. Some are fake, some are real. It's got quad exhaust, and yes, it is actually quad exhaust. They're not fake. It's not one pipe and three fake pipes there. There are 4 pipes coming out the back. This vent here that you see, sadly, fake. There's no additional venting that you can see in the back of the diffuser area. It's got very, again, subjective. I like the taillights. Look at the body lines. It's got another vent on the side there. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but that one is real. That does help airflow. There's another vent up on the front here. This one is also real. And you can't see it, but it does come out just in front of the wheel here. You can stick my hand in there. Vents on the hood. Sadly, fake. Headlights, awesome. Front bumper, aggressive. Now let's take a look on the inside real quick. I'm going to just open the doors to get a little bit more light coming in here. Touch materials. Not cheap like you would think maybe from a Kia. This is definitely a higher end vehicle, which is why the price tag on this starts around $50,000. But for that you get Napa leather. All these touch materials they feel quality, and who knows how long they're going to last, but it feels all right. The only wear item I found, this car has 10,000 miles on it, is a little bit of bolstering, a little bit on the seat right here. This leather. Not exactly sure what that's from, but this car does only have 10,000 miles on it. I'm sure with maintenance, if you're careful, the interior could last quite a while. It's got heated seats and cooled seats. I love the cool seats, by the way. My butt sweats. And these buttons here are they don't have much movement to them, but they feel very sturdy. I'm curious to see how the plastic and the coating wears over time, but that's another story. Inside is pretty much what you would expect to see out of an Audi or a Mercedes. Let's be honest. If it didn't have a Kia badge on there, you wouldn't be sure what this was. It's not a BMW from the styling, clearly, but it could definitely have passed off as an Audi or a Benz. Just look at the design of the rear door. Let me open it up real quick and stand back. It doesn't look like there's a lot of room to get in and out, but it's not bad. I can fit my full frame in there. I actually did move the seat back in the front here. But even with the front seat back almost as far as it goes, I still have a solid 5 inches or more of legroom. On the back here for the rear passengers, we've got outlets, USB, climate settings. The doors are also still that same material that you get in the front. It's carried over from the back. It's got the use of aluminum and metal to make it really have some contrast and pop. You've got Harman Kardon stereo, which sounds okay. I'm not an audiophile. I won't say it sounds really good, but don't take my word for that. I'm not an audio specialist. I do think it sounds fantastic though. View from the back, not bad. It's fairly clean. I'm not a big fan of the whole vents in the middle with the pop-up. It doesn't pop up; it stays there. The display, but the display is also nice. You get Audi CarPlay. You get Apple CarPlay, and you get Android Auto. I use those and then listen to the radio, whatever. All right, back seats again, nice, plenty of room. No rear sunshade, and the headrest is off of this because I had a car seat in there. Also uses latch system, very easy to get in and out. Okay, let me tell you why I would choose this over the BMW M3 and Audi S5. First, it's a fraction of the cost. That is a big, big factor for many people. I mean, you say, oh, well, you can't afford it. Well, of course you're going to buy this. I don't know. I've driven the M3, I've driven Audi S5s. There's a lot of reasons I like this over both of those. So let me tell you why. First, this car is extremely easy to drive. It feels light. On the steering wheel, you jump in, you just pull the lever back and you go. Yes, there's not a lot to it. It's an automatic. How hard can it be, right? It just is. One, it's simply dumbed down. You want sport mode, you want comfort mode. There's not a gazillion different modes to choose from. It just makes it easy and they all freaking work. 2, 3, what point am I on? I lost count. There's so many. It's all-wheel drive. You can drive this badass every day of the year. Right now it comes with the Michelin Pilot Super Sports or 4S tires, which are amazing freaking tires. They're only 225s in the front, but for a 4,100 pound car, they grip like no freaking other. 255s in the back if you're wondering. Okay, and here's what I mean by so easy to drive. Oh, and a kind of flat bottom steering wheel. Just notice the RPMs. I'm going to go this way. Very light throttle. It's an 8-speed transmission, so it always stays in the most optimal gear and shifts a lot, right? Because you've got 8 of them to go through. But because of that, you also get decent-ish fuel economy. On my testing here, I was averaging right around 21 to 22 miles per gallon, and that's getting on it a little bit, right? And when I mean getting on it, it'll go. Put your foot down. Yeah. She goes. Under the hood is a 3.3 liter V6 twin turbo, because there's 2, one on each side. And let's take a look at it. I took this cover off so you can see what's really underneath there. I'll put it back on, but I'm going to set it here on the ground for now. Okay, 3.3 liter twin turbo V6 making 365 horsepower, around 380 foot-pounds of torque, sending power through an 8-speed automatic transmission to all 4 wheels. That's the all-wheel drive model. You get the rear-wheel drive, it's making even more power to the ground. I'm not going to explain that part. It makes more power to the ground, and you have two-wheel drive fun. I haven't driven one of those. I wish I could. I would look forward to it, but it's lots of hoses and stuff. But there's a lot of space. That's what I'm telling you. You want to work in this car, it doesn't look too terrible. Let me show you. Turbos, you can see them. There's one down there. It's kind of hidden by this coolant line. But there's one down there. This intake box goes right to it. Then you've got another turbo that sits right here. You can see the cold side, which is the part here that is shiny, and then you got the hot side there. Intake box goes right to that turbo. Inlet pipe right here into the intake manifold. Oh, wait a minute. The intake manifold is made of plastic. Now it is, you can see there's reinforcements on there. The problem with boost and plastic intake manifolds is that they are prone to cracking. And if you like the aftermarket as much as I do, I couldn't have this car and keep it stock knowing that it's turbo. It would be tuned and I would void my warranty probably rather quickly. I'm not going to go into full aftermarket details on this, but with a tune, you can push numbers. Let me back up. This car is rated at 365 horsepower, 380-ish foot-pounds of torque. It puts to the ground, through the engine, through the transmission, through the axles, to the wheels, to the ground, around 290 horsepower. So you're losing like 80 horsepower right there from flywheel to the ground. Not super big because this car feels way faster than that thanks to the torque. It's putting down around 330 foot-pounds of torque to the ground, which is nice. Now imagine if you just reflash the ECU, run a couple more pounds of boost, you get a custom tune so it runs even better, gets better fuel economy, and then you could be putting near or well over 400 to the ground, 100 extra horsepower, and probably upwards of 450 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels. Let me say that again, to the wheels. That would make this engine produce well over 500 horsepower and torque to match. Just think about that. Yes, you can do that to any turbo car, but here's a car that right now has a sticker of $52,000, and as I speak, there are dealerships selling this exact same model for about $42,000. You can find them less if you look more. Most of them here are all-wheel drive, but you can find the rear-wheel drives for high 30s. $40,000 for a 400 horsepower vehicle that will run the quarter mile in the low 12s at around 108 miles an hour, stock. And it's comfortable as hell. It feels good doing everything. This thing will ball. Okay, I haven't taken it on the track. You can read other reviews about how it does on the track, but I can say from back roads around here, from exit ramps to on ramps to whatever you would have in your town, for as being as heavy as it is, this car is impressive. You have to push it to get it to plow. Those front tires, for only being 225s, grip and turn in, and it does amazing things for a vehicle of this size and this weight and this much money, which isn't a lot. So why wouldn't I buy one of these? Probably because it's the first year model. I can't think of any reason, and take that for what it's worth, right? First model year vehicles, they find issues, they correct them a little bit later on. In previous years, there's very little to complain about with this car. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this video up. I've been talking too long. Do I recommend it? Hell yes. Am I saying don't look at the M3 or the Audi S5 or any other competitors? No, not at all. I'm saying more than anything else is don't worry about that Kia badge. I could probably talk about how fantastic this car is all day long.
Which we do not have time for, I'm sure. I happen to agree with this assessment. Great car. If you don't mind buying Kia versus some of the Germans, I think this delivers just about everything that they do for a lot less. So, thanks for watching.
It's a twin turbo 3.3 liter V6, and come on, dum dum. Ah, yeah, one-handed. Let's try this again. Okay, come on, internet, laugh at me. Jesus Christ. It's not like I've done this before. What the hell? Oh.